Chapter 9. For the first time in years, Zeke had set his alarm for the following morning, and its buzzing did its job before the sun was even up. It took him a little longer to get going, and his morning personal time took a little longer than usual, but by 6:30 he was through his routine, dogs chewing on their bones. He was ready to head into Phoenix for what would be his last opportunity to get any supplies before all hell broke loose. Just as he was heading out, he pulled up his bank account on his phone, logging in and expecting a sizable chunk from his parents. When he saw the number, though, his stomach dropped and his heart danced. It was more than he could have ever imagined. It really was every single drop of savings they had. He refreshed the app just to make sure he was seeing right. When the numbers loaded again, they were the same. His bank account now had over $300,000. Zeke knew his trip into Phoenix had just gotten a lot easier. And easy it was. He had looked up reviews the night before on vehicles, but he had been looking at older vehicles. With the size of that sudden influx of cash, he didn't need to go old. He could pull right onto the lot and get a brand new vehicle. He was never a car guy, but he figured that pretty much any new diesel four-wheel drives would do exactly what he needed them to do for the time he had left. He pulled into the first car dealership he passed, driving away just a few hours later with a brand new 2043 diesel Jeep Wrangler. He'd always wanted a Wrangler before, but they had always been out of his price range. Not that day, though. He left his tried and true Hyundai behind, taking a deep whiff of that new car smell. Before he made his way to the RV depot, he stopped back by a big box store, calling the vet and ordering one more refill of Herman's medicine as he parked. He picked up a few items in the store just to top off their needed supplies. He got a steak and a few other items he would freeze for the dog's last meals, another couple of cases of water, a first aid kit, and a compass. Then he headed to the vet to pick up the medicine. From there, he headed over to the RV depot, ready to get the vehicle home and loaded. It had been a month of waiting, and he was getting to a point he never thought he'd get to. He just wanted the waiting to be over. Having so much cash on hand, Zeke didn't have to waste time on haggling. With the idea of potentially using the ham radio for broadcasting and recording, Zeke listed off a number of criteria he'd need for a trailer. He was working with the same salesman as before, and Zeke had yet to see his grin as big as it got when Zeke told him, "As long as it's under 230 out the door, I've got cash for you today. Just get me what I need." The afternoon was fading when the transaction was finished, Zeke driving off the lot in his brand new Jeep and his brand new 32-foot trailer in tow behind him. He had managed to get everything he needed for what he wanted to do, what he was truly beginning to feel he needed to do. He and his colleagues were having their little party that night, but he'd have to cut it a little short, and when he told them that there would be no more normal nights, he knew they'd each want to cut the night short too. Making the long and windy trip back to his house was more treacherous than he had thought it'd be, the trailer adding much more weight and momentum than he was anticipating. It was good practice, he thought, knowing that he would inevitably find himself on some ridiculous road somewhere at some point. He made it home just a few minutes before they were supposed to all get together. He parked the trailer in front of the house, not really caring how much of the street it blocked. It didn't block much, but he wasn't going to make sure it was perfect. Once he was parked and back inside, he turned on his computer as he let his overjoyed dogs out back. Once the computer booted up, he poured himself a drink and moved back to his office, getting the party link pulled up. His camera turned on, and he joined the party. He didn't find it all that surprising that he was the first to join. If he were being truthful, he didn't expect any of them to actually show up. With what they knew was coming, he wouldn't have blamed them if they preferred to spend that time with their families. Zeke decided to give it a few minutes, though, turning on some music on his phone. Just as the first tune began, a chime sounded in Zeke's headphones. Ren had joined the meeting. "What's up, dude?" Ren said. "How's it going, Ren? How you hanging in there?" "Oh, you know." Ren's tone was slightly high-pitched, as if positive in nature. The facetiousness was unmistakable. "Just suffocating with pure terror. You know, the typical stuff." They laughed at the macabre joke. As they did, the chime sounded again. Kimmy had joined. her camera turning on. In every other meeting they'd ever been in, she always had one of the cheesy default green screen backgrounds blocking out her room. Not that night, though. For the first time, she had the screen down and was truly letting them get a glimpse of her life outside of work. It was a little thing, but it struck Zeke nonetheless. "Hey guys, what's up?" she said, her tone indicating she had not a care in the world. "Not much, just waiting to die." Ren went with the simpler version of his morbid joke this time. Kimmy laughed. "How about you, Kimmy? How you holding up?" "Oh, I'm good, Long story short, I've just been enjoying everything I can. Been going to the clubs like I'm 18 again. I just bought a dress I've been wanting for a while that was about a week's worth of salary. Went to church this week, too. Was the first time since I was a kid. I'll probably go visit my aunt soon." "I like it," Zeke said. "You've got a little bit of everything going on." 10 minutes later, the whole team was there. Ren, Harvey, and Lena all having their families join in. "Friends," Lena said as the initial hellos and pleasantries were over, "I know you guys may not be about this, but—" As Lena trailed off, the screen in front of Zeke flashed from a view of all their cameras to a website with the word karaoke flashing in a GIF Zeke worried would cause someone an epileptic seizure. "Karaoke!" Everyone, to Zeke and Lena's surprise, actually agreed, with Ren getting the extra push from his son to join. To Ren's great dismay, when the names were chosen at random for order, he was picked first. He conferred with his son and typed a song into his computer. "Okay, guys, don't judge me. This is just a song I grew up with, and I really like it. It's actually better than the original, in my opinion at least." The music started, and Ren's son sat in his lap, the two preparing to do a duet. It was Weird Al Yankovic. It was an older song that came out a few years before Zeke was born, but as someone who appreciated Star Wars and a good Weird Al song, he knew the tune instantly. Over the next few minutes, they all listened to Ren and his 8-year-old son singing along to the tune of American Pie, telling them all the full story of Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 1. Bye, this here Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry, they sang. It was an evening full of fun, laughter, and love. It was the kind of evening that Zeke feared he'd never experience again. After about an hour, though, Zeke knew that he was going to have to go. He wanted to stay. He never wanted to leave that digital party, but he knew he had to. Things had to be done, and he needed rest. After all, he was certain he would never again sleep in such comfort and luxury as he would that night. "So, guys," he started. "Oh, fuck," Celine interjected, leaning closer into the camera. "What now, Z?" "Yeah, man. Last time you started off something that way, you followed it up with the best news ever." Harvey's face was half smile, half wince. "Well, let me freaking finish," Zeke quipped. "You are right, though. It's not great news. Actually, it's kind of shitty news. Apparently, a journalist in Europe got the scoop on this whole mess. I guess they were threatening to break the news. The leaders were going to tell everyone on the 1st, but they're telling the world tomorrow night. I love you guys, but I know you're going to want to spend tonight with your own families, and I've got some last-minute things to do before I head out tomorrow. I think it's best we cut it here. But I do have one more thing, and this time it isn't bad. It's actually, well, it's actually kind of incredible." Zeke explained the crafts his brother was a part of building, explaining what their goals and potential were. He explained his own part to play in it. "What do you guys think? I know you're all over the country, and you're probably not going to be staying where you're at now, but if I can get to you, are you interested?" "Record our stories, friend?" "You're telling me that I could potentially have my voice out there in the stars? Oh, I'm in. Just call me Solo. Han Solo." "I don't know if I'll call you Solo or Han, Ren, but I'll definitely call you in." "Fuck it, I'm in," Kimmy said. "Why not? It'd be kinda cool to know that my voice may be heard a million years from now." "Sure, count me in, Z," Celine agreed. "I'm in, friend." Lena smiled brightly, but it didn't hide the look behind her eyes. "We're going to leave for Colorado in the morning, though. I don't want to go, but it's where my family is at. I'll send you the address tonight. Sounds good, Lena. Send me the address or coordinates or whatever for where y'all are going to be at. Ren, you're the closest, so you'll be first. Okay, but we're going to head up to my wife's family's place. They're on a reservation up north. I'll get you directions, though. We're going to try to get out tonight, but not sure that's going to happen. Guess we'll see. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, guys. It'll be nice to actually meet you in person for once. They all said their goodbyes, with more than a few tears being shed. Zeke turned off his computer, took his dogs to the lake, and enjoyed the crisp evening air, absorbing every inch of that beautiful desert oasis before they left it the following evening, never to return. When they got back, Zeke popped a melatonin, and before he knew it, it was morning. He spent the day loading up the trailer and Jeep with every bit of supplies that could fit. When he could, he squeezed in a luxury or two, and in what seemed like the blink of an eye, the sun was setting. His time to prepare was over, and to his relief, he had everything other than himself, his dogs, and a few of their toys ready to go. The president's announcement was just 30 minutes away, and then everything would be different. Zeke took a few edibles, wanting to numb the words he was about to hear. He'd already played his own version of them through his mind countless times over, but they had never been official. They were about to become official. Zeke was pouring a drink in his kitchen when it began.
My fellow Americans, I come before you now, not as your president, but as a fellow resident of this planet we call home. Tonight I address you with a message of utmost gravity and urgency. We indeed stand at a crossroads in the history of our planet, and this moment which is upon us will define the legacy of humanity. Throughout the existence of our species, we have faced and defeated many threats. We have conquered the freezing temperatures of ice ages. We have conquered the torture and turmoil that is widespread plague. We have survived solar flares, and ladies and gentlemen, we have survived one another. Everything that has been thrown at us, we have conquered. Yet today, our generations, you, me, your children, your parents, your mailman, we all now must face the greatest threat that mankind has ever had to stare down. Many believe that what I am about to tell you need be sugar-coated. Some in my cabinet believe that it is better to give you a more sanitized view of our projections. They believe that if I am to talk to you honestly, there could be a panic that would follow. I, however, could not disagree more. I believe that you, the American people, are capable of hearing the honest truth we are facing, and I believe that you are capable of doing so with grace, poise, and the steadfastness that ran deep through the foundings of this great country. Therefore, I will not hold back in what I am to tell you. I will be honest, and for once, you can actually believe those words, despite the fact they're coming from a politician.
The president, to Zeke's surprise, cracked a slight grin. It didn't last long.
But I am not just a politician. I am an American citizen. I am a person belonging to planet Earth. Though many of my critics, I now admit, were correct in their previous assumptions that I could no longer truly understand the quote-unquote normal person, I know very well the honesty I would demand if I were in your position. And though painful what I will tell you may be, hard to believe as it is, I will oblige that honesty. If you have children, now is the time to consider having them leave the room, and I would urge you to do so.
The president waited for a moment in silence, his stare into the lens unwavering. It was as if the president was looking right at him, and Zeke knew that whatever the president was about to say was actually the truth. Zeke was impressed. He didn't vote for the man, but he had to give him credit.
just over 1 year ago.
He started again as a diagram of the solar system, including the Kuiper Belt, appeared over the president.
Scientists and astronomers working with the recently launched Sagan telescope were studying the Kuiper Belt. This immense disk-like feature starts beyond the outer planets and extends billions of miles. It is where Pluto calls home, and it is the source of many comets. As the scientists began going over the data and images coming in, these astronomers discovered something that no one had expected, something no one would ever wish to discover. Through countless observations, they discovered a faint, yet incredibly large, distant body moving about. Over the coming weeks, they toiled over the data, making sure that their observations were correct, which, in the end, they were. They had discovered what is called a rogue planet. This planet, which has been named Viator, a wanderer of the void, has been traveling through the vastness of space for countless eons. Since a time when the dinosaurs roamed our world, Viator may have been roaming the universe, unknowingly heading toward a date with our destiny. Despite this giant having a diameter and mass nearly equivalent to Neptune, it had entered our solar system undetected. Planets at such a distance are remarkably faint, making them incredibly difficult to spot, especially when you aren't looking for them. Now, as it gets pulled into a slingshot pattern around our sun, its final trajectory is tragically clear. As Viator swings around the sun, it will come up behind Venus. The planet's orbits will cross, with Venus being just several positional days ahead. However, the gravitational impacts on Venus as Viator passes behind it will be so strong that we may be able to see our sister planet as she leaves our solar system forever. Scientists believe that Viator's orbit will remain unchanged by this brush with Venus, and will continue to carry the planet further through the solar system. After months of exhaustive research, we are now confident in our observations that our planet, our little blue dot, so lonely in the dark vastness of this infinite mysterious universe, will cross paths with Viator soon after. Our two paths, which came from starting points that are so far separated, our simple, cosmically undeveloped minds can't even gauge that distance, will cross. Before any collision between the two planets, we will feel the indirect consequences of Viator. Meteor showers will grow frequent as we are bombarded by debris Viator has sent in our direction from passing through the Oort cloud and Kuiper Belt. As the planet grows nearer, likely within just a week away, earthquakes, the size and power of which we have never thought to fathom, will begin to occur, razing cities to the ground on every continent. Tsunamis that reach nearly as high as the clouds could make their way several hundreds of miles inland, clearing the entire landscape. And the skies will continue to be adorned with unprecedented meteor showers as debris relentlessly rains through our atmosphere. Natural disasters will leave not a single acre of land unblemished. As Viator's gravitational influence intensifies, we will experience more than just earthquakes and tsunamis. Our planet's very rotation and orbit may be altered, leading to dramatic changes in weather patterns and seasons over those final days and hours. The delicate balance of our ecosystem will be disrupted, affecting not just humanity, but every living creature on Earth. Yet despite these harrowing predictions, we must not succumb to despair. Now, more than ever, our resilience must shine. We must continue to live, to cherish each day, and to uphold the values and dreams that define us. We must strive to maintain normalcy in our lives, to provide comfort and stability to our loved ones, and to support those in need. In times like these, many of us may find ourselves turning to our faiths, seeking salvation and guidance. Whether you pray to God, Allah, the Buddha, or any other deity, or even if you seek solace in the spiritual without a deity, now is the time to embrace the strength that comes from faith. In every prayer, in every moment of meditation or reflection, we must find resilience and unity. We are a nation, a world, a species of diverse beliefs, but in our diversity, we find a shared humanity, a common thread of hope and strength that weaves through every soul: faith. In the history of the cosmos, many worlds have faced cataclysmic events, yet the universe continues to thrive in its majestic expanse. Our story, the human story, is a testament to the enduring spirit that overcomes even the greatest of challenges. Let us face these coming days with that spirit, united in our humanity and our unyielding hope. As we face the coming threat, know that we are not idle. We are exploring every possibility, no matter how remote, to find a way through this. Our scientists, our leaders, and experts worldwide are working tirelessly, and they have been for over a year. We will not give up on you, on us. In order to ensure a continuity to our way of life, we must not falter in our days. We must continue. We must approach every day just as we have to this point. We must do our part in making sure that services, tools, and other such necessities of modern life remain available to those who are in need. On Monday, we will all return to our jobs. The shadow of Viator will loom overhead, yes, but in the continuation of our way of life, we can fight back. That is why I have just ordered all of our brave men and women serving overseas to return home, effective immediately. The military will partner with utilities, oil companies and refineries, farmers, and many others to ensure that everything continues to operate as normal. Gasoline will still be delivered, and your grocery shelves will remain stocked. Though the days ahead will inevitably be filled with turmoil, fear, and chaos, we must not lose hope. We human beings are capable of amazing things, and we, my administration, and thousands of scientists worldwide will leave not a stone unturned as we fight for our species. May we all find strength in each other, in our shared courage, and in our unbreakable will to endure and continue. May we all look to those around us with compassion and peace, not violence and hate. May we embrace one another, at last, with love in our hearts. God bless you all. God bless America. And may God bless our beautiful and brave pale blue dot of a planet, our home, our Earth.